Kamala brought what I call the BOGE, that black Oakland girl energy, and she soundly defeated Trump. But the sad reality is, if we don't work hard for the next few weeks, she could lose for one big reason, and that is because America is still deeply racist. Stay with me. Hello, everybody. I am attorney Augustus Corbett, one half of the Defiant Lawyers, and each and every week we bring you at least one legal analysis of some trending story regarding politics, policies, personalities, or pop culture to empower you with the information you need to defy this unjust legal system and to nullify systemic racism. If that interests you, please like, share, comment, subscribe, and click the bell so you'll get notification every time we upload one of our powerful and informative videos. So like I said, Kamala had a strong debate yesterday. She definitely won that debate. She brought that black Oakland girl energy, and she unleashed it on Donald Trump. She also spoke a lot of facts, and she showed a lot of grace, but she definitely stood strong. And she soundly beat him. And there's one particular moment in the debate that I want to show you right now. But before I do, please go over to Amazon, grab a copy of my book so that you can have a tool in your arsenal to help your African-American son that is attending public schools. Trust me, you need to know everything in this book, everything, because I tell you exactly how to deal with those issues that African-American male students tend to face in public schools. All right? So go get your copy. Now, I enjoyed the whole debate. I was screaming at the television that, Kamala, you're doing a great job, you're doing a great job, you're doing a great job. You brought that black Oakland girl energy that you needed to bring, because she just, first and foremost, she just had to stand up to Trump because he's going to bring all his energy. And she needed to just be able to stand initially until she could, come back with the stuff that she needed to come back with. So she did a splendid job, an excellent job. There's one part of the video that I want you to see that I really think she thought very seriously about just completely unleashing that black Oakland girl energy, but she thought about it and didn't. Watch this.
I want to turn to Afghanistan. It came up in the first hour of the debate, and we witnessed a poignant moment today on Capitol Hill, honoring the soldiers who died in the chaotic withdrawal from Afghanistan. I do want to ask the Vice President, do you believe you bear any responsibility in the way that withdrawal played out?
Well, I will tell you, I agreed with President Biden's decision to pull out of Afghanistan. 4 presidents said they would, and Joe Biden did. And as a result, America's taxpayers are not paying the $300 million a day we were paying for that endless war. And as of today, there is not one member of the United States military who is in active duty in a combat zone in any war zone around the world, the first time this century. But let's understand how we got to where we are. Donald Trump, when he was president, negotiated one of the weakest deals you can imagine. He calls himself a deal maker. Even his national security advisor said it was a weak, terrible deal. And here's how it went down. He bypassed the Afghan government. He negotiated directly with a terrorist organization called the Taliban. The negotiation involved the Taliban getting 5,000 Taliban terrorists released. And get this. And the president at the time invited the Taliban to Camp David, a place of storied significance for us as Americans, a place where we honor the importance of American diplomacy, where we invite and receive respected world leaders. And this former president, as president, invited them to...
That right there is where I think she almost let it out. I mean, she almost let it out. This, she almost let it out, but she held it in. So she had an extremely strong showing. But unfortunately, he could still win. She could lose. And you may say to yourself, how in the world can a man like Trump beat a woman with the qualifications that Kamala Harris has, that she showed the world last night that she has? Well, the same way he can win despite being a convicted felon 34 times, despite leading an insurrection, almost overthrowing the government, despite being less qualified, despite being a serial liar, despite wanting to be a dictator, so many other things. In other words, he is able to still win because we live in a very racist country. Who is willing to overlook all of that for one reason, and that is because this man is committed to protecting white supremacy. And those that support him are willing to deal with and put up with anything, including destroying our democracy, just to protect white supremacy. And there are even black men who are standing with him despite his white supremacist agenda. So yes, he definitely can still win. Now, the fact that Trump could become president debunks something Tim Scott says all the time. Watch this.
I was raised by a single mom in poverty. We had plastic spoons, not silver spoons. But she taught me to work hard, to take responsibility, and reject victimhood. Thank God for my wonderful mama. I know this is going to offend the liberal elites. Every time I say it, it offends them. But let me say it one more time. America is not a racist country.
He's a total liar. And the fact that Donald Trump could still win this race, despite being very, very bombastic, disrespectful, led an insurrection, a convicted felon, a serial liar, immoral, all of that, he could still win this election if we don't do our part. Now, some people said that Kamala really went in on him last night. Well, I think she could have done even more, quite frankly. In other words, I think she held back. I think she held back when he talked about him having built the greatest economy ever. Well, she could have easily pointed out, no, sir. You inherited a great economy from Obama. All right? And she could also have pointed out very easily that inflation under her and Biden has dramatically dropped. She could have pointed out that unemployment was the lowest under Biden, including black unemployment. She could have hit him with all of this. She could have said, despite court intervention, they still forgave $5 billion in student loans. You remember he said the student loan program didn't work. No, $5 billion were still forgiven by the Biden administration when they talked about the Afghanistan situation. Now, you remember Kamala stood right there in that video and explained that Trump negotiated a hard deal. What she didn't say is the fact that they had to withdraw. They had a deadline, and they had to withdraw those troops by that deadline, or the Taliban would resume killing our troops. She could have hit him with that. She could have said that when he was saying that they had weaponized the DOJ, which they did not, that has not happened, but she could have pointed out the DOJ had nothing to do with those state cases in New York where Trump got convicted. Nothing. The two don't mesh. One is federal jurisdiction, the other one is New York jurisdiction. She could have hit him with that. She let him go. She could have hit him with the fact that hundreds of thousands of lives were lost because he mishandled COVID. And while we're talking about COVID, she could have hit him with the fact that he inherited a great economy, but because he mishandled and lied about COVID, he messed that great economy up and caused inflation to rise so that when Biden and Harris came in, they had to fix Trump's mess. She could have hit him with that. She could have hit him with the fact that when he said that violent crime is up, no, sir, violent crime is the lowest it has been in 50 years. She could have hit him with all of that. So I think she actually took it easy on him. And despite all those facts that she did lay out on him, and the many, many more that she could have laid out on him, the man still may become the president of the United States of America again, despite what we saw, including the comments about Haitians eating dogs and cats and people's pets. I mean, that is just creepy. Donald Trump is unhinged. But does that matter to his supporters? Not at all. Not at all. They just want to win the presidency. Then they'll do whatever they do with him, because once they get back in office, we know what we're dealing with. We're dealing with Project 2025. We're dealing with the destruction of our democracy. We're dealing with the dismantling of the Department of Education. We're dealing with the dismantling of the EPA. We're dealing with the rollback of civil rights laws. They just want to get in office to do those things so that they can damage our democracy, establish an autocracy or an authoritarian government, to put some fascism in place so that they can do one thing: protect white supremacy. That's what this is about. So we got a lot of work to do. We got to hit the streets. We got 2 months to do it. We got to go hard. We got to go hard. We got a little less than 2 months. We got to really go hard to get her elected. And unfortunately, you have what I call pro-black imposters out here who are working so hard to undermine this black woman's campaign. And there was that moment, let me just mention this. There was that moment where, it's so sad, where they asked Trump about the fact that he said she was not black at one time and then she became black. And of course, they went to Vice President Harris to address that, and she didn't address that. And I wouldn't have either. I don't think she shows strength by reacting to that allegation. She's already said, she has already proven that she's black. She proved that when she said in her book numerous times, I am a black woman. I mean, what more do people want? She said it. All he has to do, and all these other pro-black imposters have to do, is open a book. Just open a book. If you want her to affirm that she's black, open her book. She has said so to millions. Her best-selling book, here it is right here for you. Now read it yourself. There it is, right in your face. There it is. She says it. Read it. I'm not going to read it for you. Read it yourself. It's right there. So why don't you stop hating on this woman? And let's not put this white supremacist in office so that he can harm the very people that you say you are fighting for, pro-black imposters. You can't be pro-black and fight for Trump at the same time. You can't be pro-black and do anything to support white supremacists getting in office. Why don't you just come out and say, I support Trump? Just come out and say it. Everybody sees it. Just say it. Just say it. I support Donald Trump. You know why you can't say that? Because then the jig is up. And now you can never again claim to be pro-black. So that's why you won't see it, despite everybody knowing it and seeing it at this point. Again, stop hating on this black woman. Let's get this black woman elected. She'll do us a whole lot more good than Donald Trump, who's going to destroy our democracy. And when democracy is gone, civil rights are out of here. There will be no civil rights. Again, stop hating on this woman. Stop playing us to be fools. We know better. I know better, and I'm out here hard trying to show folks that this is all just what I would call faking the funk. That's all this is. You're faking the funk. You are a pro-black imposter. You're a pro-black imposter. And I'm not a Democratic shield for saying what I'm saying. In fact, I'm not a Democrat. So take that somewhere else. I'm not a Democrat. I don't know the Democratic leaders. I don't know the Democratic leaders of the state of Texas. I don't know the Democratic leaders of the city of Dallas, the county of Dallas. I don't know the national Democratic leaders. I'm not plugged into the Democratic Party or the Republican Party. I'm an independent voter, but I know who is best for black people. Although, obviously, the Democrats could do better, but I'm going to tell you, they do a whole lot better than the GOP, who is obviously openly anti-black, anti-civil rights, and anti-democracy. All right. I am Attorney Augustus Corbett, one half of the Defiant Lawyers. We bring you this type of analysis every week. Stay tuned in. I appreciate you watching the video. And until the next time, peace.